Hi everybody, thanks for joining Create with Dee. Today I'll share with you how I made this little watering can. It's made with the Petite Purse Die, so let's get started making our little watering can. Today's video will just focus on the watering can itself. I'll have a future video on how I made this flower, but for today again we're just going to concentrate on how we can make the Petite Purse into a watering can. So what we need is, of course, the Petite Purse Die, basic gray ink, a couple of sponge daubers, the mini silver brads, the matte and piercing pack, and I have platinum glimmer paint and some Tombow. So the first thing we want to do with the die is we are going to cut off this part right here, which is typically the purse flap. And if it's helpful, you can go ahead and maybe pre-fold some of the lines, the pre-scored lines now. Okay, so I'm going to tuck those kind of back, and I'm going to trim off this flap. This way, this not only will allow us to have the can opening, but also then we're going to keep the little flap, and that'll be our spout. I probably didn't do the best trim job on this, so let me just grab this real quick. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and take what will be the watering can spout, and I do want to cut that little, this is the little flap notch that allows it to tuck into the purse. But we want to take that off, and that's the only piece that we're not going to use to make our watering can. Next, what we want to do is I've got my sponge dauber and basic gray, and we really want to go ahead and ink around the edges of all of our watering can. So again, I'm going to go ahead and fold these lines. You'll want to take your bone folder and really get nice good creases on everything. And I won't have you watch me do all of it, but we really want to make sure that we get all of the edges. Okay, so every place that's going to be an edge of our can or the top of our watering can, we really want to make sure that we get that real defined. And I'll be back after I have all that done. Got all of the edges of the can very much defined, and now I'm just going to kind of come back, still with my dauber and the basic gray, and just kind of give it a little more dimension. You know, just kind of maybe do some streaking around. And don't forget the sides of the can. We want to make sure that those are defined as well. I forgot to do the flaps, so I'll make sure I get those. Okay, so we just want to kind of dirty it up a little bit. Okay, so here's what the base of the watering can is going to look like. Again, it's the purse minus the little flap on it. And what I like to do is put the handle on, but before I glue everything, I'm going to, pick the side that the handle's going to be on, and with our paper piercer, see, I just kind of made a loop, and when I attach the brads, I want to pull this up just a little bit so that the watering can really has a nice handle on it. And then we'll position it like that. And I'll put a mini brad in there, and I'll show you what that looks like. So I put a little Tombow here to hold it in place, and then I'll go ahead and take my paper piercer, and I'm going to put 2 holes, and I'm going to make sure that I get nice big openings here. And then we'll take our mini brads, whoops, and put it through. Okay, so that one's through, and just open it up, and we'll do the second one off camera. With Tombow, I went ahead and put the sides together on it, and you want to make sure that you give it a little bit to rest. And I I'm taking the top piece, this is the flap that we cut off, and I inked around it and edged and distressed both sides. And I went ahead and scored, using my Simply Scored, about 1/4 of an inch on what will be the spout. Okay, so we want to take this, and what we want to do is this 1/4 of an inch will allow us to attach it onto the rest of our little watering can. And I found that if you do a little bit of snipping here towards our fold edge, that'll allow it to form a kind of a semicircle. So again, I snipped a couple here, and then I'm going to bend those in, and just taking my finger, that's going to kind of shape our spout. Okay, so again, I'm just kind of taking my finger and folding it in, and you get this kind of V look, really more of a U, because we don't necessarily want a real big point on it. Some Tombow, and then we're going to attach it to our can. And Tombow dries clear, so that getting it on there isn't going to bother me, as far as seeing it. Let's get just in camera shot here. So again, just if anything, this is about the trickiest part. We just need to hold it in place just a little bit while that Tombow sets. Okay, so that looks good. Okay, so Tombow does get tacky fairly fast, and so once it gets to that stage, you can kind of shape out your watering can again. Again, you can adjust how you might want the spout to look just by putting your finger in there. And on mine, I went ahead, on this first one here, I did apply the platinum shimmer paint to it. And you can kind of see the difference. It really kind of gives it that little bit of a metallic-y type of look to it. So I'm going to go ahead and shake up, again, my platinum glimmer paint. And I've got a sponge dauber designated just for that. And actually the dauber head fits right in there. Oops, get a little paint on your dauber. Try not to spill it like I did there. And literally we're going to go ahead and paint the sides. And again, this is just going to kind of give us a little bit of a sheen. It's really going to make this pop as a metallic. Okay, and you would continue doing that until you had the whole can painted. And let it dry, and when you're done, again, you get this really cool looking metallic finish to it. So I hope you enjoy taking your Petite Purse Die and repurposing it into this little watering can. Thanks for watching. Happy crafting. Bye-bye.